Islam. We are here for 30 minutes, more or less. All right. Peace and greetings to all. I am Brini Naji, and with me is me, Sister Zara Bay. Tonight, I am going to speak and expound upon the concept of polygyny with real life examples experienced by myself. All right. It should be entertaining, tragic, and funny. Um, Before I begin, give all praises to Allah and honors to his prophet, Noble Drew Ali, and that his forerunner in these times, Marcus Garvey. I will be speaking from my experience and my knowledge, no matter how limited that may be, and I speak with all sincerity. So if I misspeak, I do not intend to mislead. All right, peace. So let me go and get started. I'm gonna open up with a chapter from the Holy Quran, Circle 7, chapter 22, the duties of duty of a husband. All right, number one, starting with number one. Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. But examine with care and fix not suddenly. On thy present choice depends thy future happiness. If much of her time is destroyed in dress and adornment, if she is enamored in her own beauty and delighted with her own praise, if she laugheth much and talketh loud, if her foot abideth not in her father's house, and her eyes with boldness rove on the faces of men, though her beauty were as the sun in the firmament of heaven, turn thy face from her charms, turn thy feet from her paths, and suffer not thy soul to be ensnared by the allurements of imagination. But when thou findest sensibility of heart joined with softness of fancy, softness of manners, and accomplished mind, with a form agreeable to thy fancy, take, take her to thy home. She is worthy to be thy friend, thy companion in life, the wife of thy bosom. O cherish her as a blessing sent to thee from heaven. Let the kindness of thy behavior endear thee to her heart. She is the mistress of thy house. Treat her therefore with respect, that thy servants may obey her. Oppose her not oppose not her inclination without cause. She is the partner of thy cares. Make her also the companion of thy pleasures. Reprove her faults with gentleness. Exact not her obedience with rigor. Trust thy secrets in her breast. Her counsels are sincere. Thou shalt not be deceived. Be faithful to her bed, for she is the mother of thy children. When pain and sickness assault her, let thy tenderness soothe her affliction. Look not look A look from thee of pity and love shall alleviate her grief, or instigate her pain, and be of more avail than 10 physicians. Consider the tenderness of her sex, the delicacy of her frame, and be not severe to her weakness, but remember thine own imperfections. And that was chapter 20, the duty of a husband from the Circle 7 Quran of the Moorish Holy Temple of Science. Um, I started with that chapter because it like perfectly segues into what I want to discuss. The first entry of that chapter, go to first verse. Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. All right. Quick story. Maybe not so quick. Um, when I was in California, right? The Grand Sheik there, who shall remain nameless, but any of the numerous Moors that were around then will know exactly who I'm speaking of and where. Anyway, it was a Grand Sheik, and he had this practice of calling the Moors in to speak with him, right? And he just asked, "What can the temple do to what was it? What can the temple do to improve your condition?" I thought that was a really cool question. I'm like, thank you for asking. I actually came to help y'all. But anyway, if you want to help me, you can find me a husband, right? Because I'm out here by myself, you know, I don't like being tough, but I am. I wish I didn't have to be, and I would rather not be, you know. And plus, I was raised Muslim, so my whole childhood was centered. I didn't know, only unmarried people I knew were the parents of the children I went to school with. Because grew up NOI, so everybody I knew was NOI. They were all those children's parents were married, right? That don't mean they stayed married, but they were married, right? So I was like, there's a lot in the Quran about building families and relations, in order to get the nation straight. And I don't feel that I can speak on certain things if I'm not married. I don't want to be a Catholic priest where they like talking about how you should raise your children, what you should do when you get in a fight with your spouse. How should you know? You really need to take several seats for real. I don't like how that looks and I don't want to look like that. So could you hook me up? So this sheik's solution was to try to take me for himself, right? And for brothers who don't know, if you are interested in a Moorish sister, from my experience, the way Moors approach these women is because he wasn't the first one to ask me this question: is your hand free? That's how you ask her if she's single, right? Um, so yeah, I asked him, "Can you find me a husband?" And he decided to, instead of looking for one, he started looking to himself, I guess. And which wasn't a problem. Whatever. Thank you for considering me. I'm flattered. But you're already in a relationship and y'all not like married, not by through the state and certainly not through the temple, right? Because I asked around. Anyway, so he's interested in courting me, right? And my sister warned me, but she didn't have to. Be careful messing with quote unquote married men because even though he doesn't think he's married, that woman might think he's married. All right. So I knew of their situation and I'm just like, nope, I am not a third party. I don't do that. I was born with one person. I'm into the two of us type of thing, right? So anyway, we're working together and that's how we're getting to know each other because I'm helping them get their paperwork in order and all that stuff. And his I don't know what to call her, his significant other, because she was significant to him, right? We were cool. We were very cool. I worked really well with her, because he was like really, really, really scattered around, real precarious, going around, make networking and all the stuff, and would just leave her behind. And I just kind of became her like companion. I'm like, this is dope, right? I don't know if he told you that he's interested in me, but I like you better than I like him, right? Um, I don't really get along with women that I have a lot of Aries in my chart. So, my Venus is an Aries. I get along a lot better with guys than women. And this chick was cool, right? I liked her. And I'm just like, okay, this is how you do it in my experience, right? Um, and referring to the NOI and um how guys blow polygyny, right? So we're getting to know each other, we're working together. What a great way to get to know one another. And I guess things started getting difficult at home. I didn't know because I didn't a I maintained my virtue. So if something unto some, what is that consternation should come up, it's not because of something I did. If you're upset, it's not because of something I did. I keep my hands to myself and I insist that others do the same, right? So this sister, she starts pulling away from me. Fine. I got 6,999,999,999 other people I can go chill with. All right. No big deal. So I show up to temple. I think it was for Sunday school. And the Grand Sheik is there. And he looks kind of flustered. Like not upset, just like he's dealing with something he doesn't want to deal with. And it's kind of silly. He feels this, it kind of came off like, why am I dealing with this today? Right. Rubbing his temples with two fingers type of thing. Anyway, And then so he's the grand sheik, and this his significant other was, I guess, the sheikess, right? And she was also the secretary. Um, so she comes in afterward. And I'm like, that's interesting. I thought y'all always rode in together. All right. I'm sitting in the back, minding my business. And um she gets up. Oh no, no, no. He goes first because he's the sheik. So we get started with Sunday school. And he reads the chapter I just read, chapter 22, Duty of a Husband. And he specifically targeted the first verse. Take unto thyself a wife and obey the ordinance of Allah. Take unto thyself a wife and become a faithful member of society. And then he went on to break down. I think I got it on tape because that was my job. I volunteered to tape all the lectures, right, or the lessons. And he went he was, I guess, explaining. I don't want to say interpreting because we know not to do that. He was explaining that you have to really be careful when you're reading Noble Drew Ali's writings because every jot and tittle means something, right? The placement of that semicolon instead of using a comma, he did that for a reason, right? So he was saying, take unto thyself a wife. That's one. And obey the ordinance of Allah. That's one wife. Take unto thyself a wife. So he was saying that means Moors are supposed to have at least two wives. And then he tied that in, if I remember correctly, he tied that into the prophecy with Noble Drew Ali, wherein he said, I've got two wives. If follow me, and if you can have as many wives as you can afford. So I'm like, wow, what an interesting topic. What's going on? Did something happen? I'm asking because I know I didn't do anything. you know. Um, so then she gets up and she's upset, right? Emotional. And I'm like, wow, I'm embarrassed for you type of thing. And come out, why is it we have to have polygamy? Why do women have to be submissive to men that aren't their husbands? Blah, blah, blah. And I knew she was talking to me, right? Because unlike her, no shade or shade, whatever, I grew up with my father. All the women I knew personally were married. So I saw women not bowing down, just like, let him figure out what to do so I can watch the children. I don't feel like watching the children and trying to figure out where we're about to go. I'll leave that up to him. And I'll make he tells me what he wants to do and where he wants to go. And I'll make all the plans. So really, we're doing what I want to do. Right. I remember my father telling me, just tell me when and where to show up. All right. So like, is that really submissive? And a little movie reference. I think it was from My Big Fat Greek Wedding. How they said, yeah, the man is the head, but the wife is the neck. She's under him, but she's not beneath him, if that makes any sense. So, and my thing was, I think she had a misconception of what the word submissive means, right? And I just found it interesting that as she was up there complaining about, sideways complaining about me, and I hadn't done anything, um, she was proving why or she was revealing to me, why was he even looking for somebody else, right? If he has you. And he would try to speak and she would cut him off. Like, wow, that's not submissive, right? That's submissive if you let him finish. If you let anybody finish, right? It's respectful, I guess. And questioning him, right? Um, not saying that if you know he's wrong, you offer your take. No, why I got to do that? Oh, it's just some things I know better, but we were raised different ways, right? So that I just was like, okay, my thing is when drama rears its head because okay, I'm starting to see how rising signs work, right? And Sarush L kind of helped me with this, right? So I am a Libra rising, and my life is the opposite of peaceful. I mean, I'm at peace, but there's like chaos swirling around me that I'm supposed to instill peace into. That's my mission in life, North Node, right? Oh no, Ascended. So Roosh, it was funny because he kept complaining how he has a terrible time with he's struggling with time, like missing appointments, missing alarms, and all that stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, you're Cancer rising, ruled by the moon, and you're having trouble with time? I think I got a new hypothesis. So, saying that, the Libra rising in me, as soon as I see the craziness starting to bubble up, I bounce. And I'll wait for the smoke to clear. And then, folks let me know everything's clear. Come on back, right? Without fail. And sure enough, with this situation, because I like you and he's okay, but I like you better, sister, y'all will get back with me. Next thing I know, she's cool. I think she even apologized for what happened. And I'm just like, whatever, I'm a Gemini. And I think I forgot about it. It was one of those things like, well, I'm kind of busy. So, well, oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you cool. You cool. One of those. And next thing I know, we're going grocery shopping. Or she invites me over to the house for dinner and then takes me grocery shopping with her. And she's like, oh, this is his favorite juice. He loves Brussels sprouts. This is that. I'm like, what is going on? I smell a setup. I don't like when I smell it. When I smell BS, it's not too long after when I see it over the horizon, that kind of thing. Right. So we get back to the house or whatever. We all have a lovely vegan taco dinner. Right. And they take me onto the porch to have Moroccan tea in real like little Moroccan glasses. It was so cool. And yeah, I know the story's getting a little winded, but it leads somewhere, I promise. So she invites me onto their porch, and we're getting ready to have tea. And she stands up, but he's seated. The Grand Sheik is seated. I'm sitting in another seat. She stands up. We are gathered here today. Oh wow, really? I abhor surprises. Maybe I'm a control freak. I don't like surprises. I really don't like being ambushed, right? Again, the whole chaos is always swirling around me thing. Um, so she's sitting there discussing with the both of us. I think she even asked, like, so what is your intention with this woman? And he just looks right, I want to marry her. And he goes down a list why to justify it to her. And she was like, I knew all that. So what do you want from him? I'm like, I don't want him. I want to be with you. No homo, right? Because I'm convinced that it's like a pride of lions, right? Who's running it, right? The male is just there to protect it, right? Protect the children, keep the other males away. We'll take care of everything else. That's what my thing was. So it's not about finding the right husband, really. It's finding the right sister wife. So if you find a sister wife or a sister who's already married, guess what? She already found a good brother because he's married. And then she invites you into the family, into the house, right? That's what she was doing. And I'm just like, wow, y'all get it. I'm impressed. I like when I don't have to explain things, right? And then so from then on, she was like, yeah, I'm okay with you all spending more time together, all that stuff. Just make sure you're not alone. Um, and you don't have to report back to me for anything, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's cool, right? So she works, like has a job, and he's running the temple, and I'm a freelancer doing legal work. So I served as his secretary while his real secretary was at work, tagging behind him, keeping notes, keeping files, all that stuff. And I guess she became uncomfortable with us spending that much time together, which is fine because any sister that thinks she's okay with being in a polygynous relationship, allow your significant other, you find her, right? And allow your find a chick, any chick, and allow your significant other to go out with her and just monitor how you feel about it. Because you might think you know how that is. You think you're okay with a situation until you're actually in that situation. And that's what happened with her. right? She really flipped out, started leaving crazy calls on my phone and all this stuff. And I found out it was because he was taking her car to come and see me during the day, and she didn't know. That's not cool. That's not cool because you sneaking around and you pulling me into something I don't even know. And if I you know that if I knew, I wouldn't. I would have not been home. That kind of thing. Yeah, it was pretty messed up, and that's where guys blow it. All right. Um, it has to go through the sister because she's going to. If there's going to be any issues with a plural marriage, she's going to have them because men are simple. Men are simple. All right, I won't say males. Men are simple, right? As in, feed them, keep them warm, keep them entertained, and it's like, well, if you cute, does it not saying that men are not discriminating. I'm not calling y'all beasts or anything like that. But it's like, okay, this is a good woman. I'll take her. That kind of thing. Women like, oh, this is a good man. I need to meet his mother. I need to know how much he makes a year. I need to know this. I need to know that. I need to know his first girl. Women complicate things. That's why I said, a woman, it's like she needs to go out and find the sister wives, right? Um, or if you're interested in being a sister wife, do not approach that brother. That leads into my next story, right? So this last situation with the grand sheet that fell apart because both of them started getting on my nerves, started accusing me of stealing because I left. I just left the situation. And the thing is, when people don't have explanations, they start making stuff up, right? But I shut that down real quick. And next thing I know, a brother gets in touch with me. Where was he? I think he was in Oklahoma somewhere, and he's like, "Yeah, I saw the whole saga because it was drawn out and it was public. I saw the whole saga about what went down with you and the sheik and the sheik is that's too bad, blah blah blah. Yeah. Are you still interested in being in a polygynous family?" And I just remember I said I can smell, I can catch whiffs of BS before I see him coming over the horizon. I'm like, yeah, but let me run it down to you. And I broke it down to him. He's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know that. I was raised NOI. Okay, that's a good start, right? And I'm married. Okay, that's a good start. Let me back up. The other guy, the Grand Sheik in California. That's another way that guys mess up. All right. And this actually happened to me twice. Um, how are you trying to set up a polygynous family and you haven't gotten married one time yet? What I mean by that is with this sheikis in California, they were not married. So and I even told him this, until you get stuff straight with her, what marriage are you inviting me into? Because I am not going, you sound like you're trying to put together a stable. That's what it sounds like to me, right? So if you want to be in a polygynous relationship, prove it by getting married to one woman first, right? It's like, oh, he's actually the marrying type, right? Um, and I said that actually happened to me twice. I'll get to that because I have been invited to join three polygynous families, right? Actually, they weren't polygynous. They would have been if I joined them, right? So the first one didn't work out because she wasn't as ready as she thought she was. He was doing stuff behind her back, and he wasn't married to her yet. So what are you even talking to me first, right? Because y'all been together for about I don't know, 2, 3 years at this point. I am not jumping in front of her. Please, that's not fair, right? Um, if you wanted to do something like that, you finish what you're doing first, that kind of thing. And then the next one, it was kind of the same thing. The couple in Oklahoma where he was like, "Yeah, I'm just seeing if you're still available, and then I'll put my wife in touch with you." Okay, cool. Get in touch with his wife. They were going through some legal stuff. I wrote up the paperwork for him. They sent me a big old box of beautiful clothes, and I'm like, "Nope." His wife made all this stuff, right? Um, and then he starts calling me, and I thought she knew. Next thing I know, I get an email from her to out, I'm taking back my access, your access to him, blah, blah, blah. She's just, I didn't get to tell you to do this and do that. And I'm just like, here we go again. Right. Um, I did not know he called me without your knowledge. Thanks for asking though. Thanks for asking me first instead of just assuming something. I guess you didn't ask him either. And thank you also for revealing you're not ready because you shouldn't have reacted that strongly to finding out again. You didn't first you didn't ask to find out what was going on. And then you flipped out, right? So you ain't ready. And next thing I know, I get a an apology letter from her to now, if you still want to do this, like, no, I'm good. Because that's twice in less than 3 months. Like, ended one, and then this thing happened, and that was within the span of 3 months. Like, I'm good. I need a break, right? Got my break. Fast forward to 2015. um, and I'm dating a monster. And he actually proposed. I loved his mom. I loved his family. I wanted to be part of his family, right? And I'm like, well, you're okay, but your family is what's making me want to go ahead and make this official, right? And I make the mistake. I'm going to take responsibility for it. I make the mistake of asking him one day, so what do you think about polygamy? And the look on his face, boy, if you ever saw a cat who swallowed a canary, cats can smile, that kind of thing. And this was him. He was like, oh, blah 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 blah. Blah. Yeah, he was real happy, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. So let me explain it to you. And I broke it down like this exactly everything I just said here. So next thing I know, he's telling me about ex-girlfriends that he's getting back in touch with. Oh, really? Oh, here's one. She wants to talk to you because he was a trucker. And she was like, yeah, she got 6 kids, none of which are yours, um, or 6 children. And she wants to join our family. At this point, we are not married. So I'm just like, what family? Right? She wants to join our family and go with me on the road for 2 weeks, next 2 weeks. So you're asking me if it's okay to take this chick who has 6 children. You're asking me if it's okay for you to take her away from her 6 children for 2 weeks so you can quote unquote interview her to be a wife. Goodbye. I was done. Right. And that's like that mistake again. It's like, wow, you're trying to set up a stable. You're not trying to set up a house, right? And it's kind of disgusting. So yeah, that's my 3 stories, I guess. Um, so the 3 ways, because you'd be surprised, right? How many women would actually go for it? Because as Sister Zarbe said, polygyny, they're doing it anyway, right? Um, and now there's that whole saying out there now. I think I first heard it on Tasha K. About once you go black, you become a baby mama. So, Moorish men about to become a premium. And y'all can have it, you can easily have a polygamous household. Can you easily have a peaceful polygamous household? That's the difference, right? You can do it your way, sir, young Moore. You can go out and pick your own women and do it like the Arabs do, right? Whereas the women don't have no say in it. But that's their culture, so they don't care, that kind of thing. If they do care, they don't say nothing. But yeah, you can have it your way. I'm gonna pick my own women, and I don't care if my wife likes it or not. I'm just gonna do what I want to do. Hey, go right ahead. And I hope you can afford separate houses for these women. Or you will not, you will be living somewhere else while they're in your house fighting until one of them leaves. Or all of them leave, which is what happened to this grand sheik. He lost me first and then he left her. So he lost everything, right? So the couple from Oklahoma, they're still cool. They're still together as far as I know. And the third one who was trying to set up a stable, after we broke up, he got married and divorced a second time within 1 year. Like, whoa. All right. Yeah. Single life looking kind of good. But anyway, I know that, being married is a social responsibility. because I also bring up the polygyny thing because what my theory is, I have a lot of theories. Whatever it is, the pale pink man is the most against. That's what we should be the most for. All right. So they are adamant that, or they were adamant that astrology and yoga, if you're old enough to remember, are demonic, right? And now look what they're doing with it. Um, and then these the same people that say a man being with another man, oh, that's cool, but a man taking care of multiple women, oh no, 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 right? What if these basketball stars could engage in polygamy? How many women could he support? And yes, he can afford to keep them in different homes, right? How many women, how many families can he support, right? Um, it's just amazing how many problems it would solve. And again, another theory, that's why the United States is still in existence. It's hanging on by a straight up thread. You know how, like when your tooth used to fall out and it'd be hanging by that one little piece of meat? That's what's going on with them. And I'm telling you, it's because they're taking care of these Moorish women and children, the quote unquote blacks and the quote unquote Latinas, right? So, I encourage these men, go out there, just be you. You ain't really got to do nothing. Because if you're a good man and just doing what you're supposed to do, the right woman, right women will gravitate towards you, right? And once you become a couple, then they married men don't get left alone, but you can manipulate that energy into something positive instead of it becoming adulterous thing. Look, we just expanded our house and brought in an extra $25,000 a year, which isn't a lot of money for one person. But if you're adding that to the other two people making $25,000 a year, hmm, right? And as much as they're against it, I'm all for it. It's like, sign me up today, right? So that's my little spiel. Oh, cool. I kept it under 30 minutes. I love it. I love it. That's my little spiel. Thanks for dropping in, Talib. Appreciate that. I'm about to bounce. That's 30 minutes. I feel good about what I just went through. And this will be posted on YouTube. A couple of announcements. Last week, I was speaking, or the last time I was on here, I was speaking on homeschooling resources for our children. And there is a page now available, but under construction on califamedia.com, where I have linked all the books that I have used in homeschooling over the past, how old is my daughter? Uh, 15 years. Oh my goodness. Yeah. And I'm still doing it. So yeah. So yep, that's it for me tonight. Thank you for joining. Thank you for listening. I appreciate that. And may you have a lovely rest of existence. All right. Peace.